Which is actually better? Earning $5,000 a month in Los Angeles or just $1,000 in Kazan? If you ask an average observer, they will look at you like you are crazy and say, 5,000, obviously, that is 5 times more money. But in 2026, looking purely at the nominal size of a salary is the single biggest financial mistake you can make. Gross numbers on a corporate contract are nothing but a beautiful marketing illusion. Today, we are going to strip away the myths, put the United States and Russia head-to-head, and look at the cold, hard, mathematical reality of what happens to your bank account. The United States is an absolute global economic titan. It is the powerhouse of global GDP, the birthplace of modern venture capital, and the epicenter of the massive AI infrastructure boom. The average nominal salary here sits at around $4,500 a month. On paper, it looks like an absolute financial paradise where everyone should be driving Teslas and accumulating generational wealth. But if you look closely at American social media and community forums, you will notice a bizarre paradox. Millions of high-earning professionals are constantly complaining about being completely broke, living paycheck to paycheck, and drowning in hidden stress. On the other side of the equation, we have Russia. This is an economy operating under unprecedented international sanctions, which, against all mainstream financial forecasts, managed to climb the global purchasing power parity rankings, while its domestic unemployment rate plummeted to historic lows. The average nominal salary here is roughly 8,500 rubles, which translates to a modest $850. To an American, that looks like pocket change. It looks like a ticket to poverty. Yet, when you look at the net lifestyle and the actual savings rate of a standard professional in a Russian tech hub or major city, the remaining numbers tell a completely different story. The reason for this paradox is simple: stealth structural spending. At Honey Money, we do not care about how much money you make before the system touches your account. We only care about one metric: your capital retention rate. How much cash is left in your hands after both states apply their mandatory tax laws, infrastructure tariffs, and daily corporate tolls? Let us start calculating the real margins, beginning with the ultimate financial filter: the tax system. In Russia, the tax structure is remarkably straightforward. For the vast majority of the population, there is a flat or very soft progressive income tax rate ranging from 13 to 15%. When you receive your paycheck, the math is transparent. You know exactly what you kept, and you do not need to hire a professional to tell you how to report your earnings. In the United States, however, the tax system is a multi-layered psychological nightmare designed to cause max friction. You do not just pay one tax. You face federal income tax, state income tax, city tax, Social Security tax, and local payroll deductions. By the time a successful specialist in a high-opportunity hub like California, New York, or Washington gets their gross $5,000 paycheck, a massive chunk has been sliced away. The government effortlessly commands up to 35 or 40% of your hard work. Just like that, your proud $5,000 shrinks into roughly $3,200 before you have even paid for a single loaf of bread or a night of shelter. And that brings us to the second, most aggressive destroyer of the American dream: the housing market. In 2026, finding a safe, basic one-bedroom apartment in a decent American metro area for under $1,600 a month is considered a massive stroke of luck. If you want to live in a global business hub where the high salaries actually exist, that rent easily skyrockets past $2,500 or $3,000. Meanwhile, the average cost of renting a modern, comfortable apartment in a major Russian city hovers around $400 to $450. Dropping even lower in regional economic centers. This means that our average American professional is forced to sacrifice more than half of their entire net post-tax income just to keep a basic roof over their head. But the bleeding does not stop at the rent check. Enter the utility tariffs. In the United States, heating, electricity, water, and trash management will easily drain another $150 to $250 from your wallet every single month. In stark contrast, due to heavy state energy subsidies, a Russian household rarely sees utility bills exceeding $50 to $70, even during the freezing peak of winter. Let us pause the spreadsheet right here and look at the survival margins. At this exact stage of the month, our high-earning American, who started with a glamorous $5,000, is sitting at a desk with barely $1,200 of disposable cash left in their pocket. Meanwhile, our Russian worker, who started with a supposedly tiny $850, has paid their flat tax, secured a warm apartment, covered all utilities, and still holds nearly $400 of free capital. The grand five-fold income gap has completely collapsed in a matter of two basic expenses. But now we cross into the territory where the contrast turns into an absolute blowout. The daily service economy, national healthcare infrastructure, and the infamous modern phenomenon known as the shame tax. Let us talk about medical reality. In Russia, despite all the structural bureaucracy of the public health system, every citizen has access to free universal healthcare, backed by an incredibly cheap, highly competitive private medical sector. A routine visit to a dentist, an emergency ultrasound, or a consultation with a top-tier specialist can be booked instantly and will cost you less than a casual dinner out. It will never ruin your life. In the United States, living without premium health insurance is equivalent to playing Russian roulette with your entire financial future. But here is the catch that expats discover too late. Even if you pay $300 a month for insurance out of your own pocket, you are not safe. You are bound by the law of deductibles. If you break a leg or need an unexpected minor procedure, the policy dictates that you must pay the first $2,000 or $3,000 entirely by yourself. And if you ever have an emergency that requires calling an ambulance, get ready for a legendary $1,500 invoice just for the 15-minute drive to the clinic. In America, healthcare is a commercial enterprise optimized to extract maximum liquid wealth from your vulnerability. Next, look at the digital convenience and the fintech ecosystem. Russia has quietly built one of the most advanced, frictionless, and affordable banking and retail setups on the planet. You can transfer money across the country instantly with zero fees via the national fast payment system. You can open an app and have fresh groceries delivered to your door in 15 minutes for a delivery fee of literally $1. Unlimited, ultra-high-speed home fiber internet costs less than $10 a month. Now look across the ocean. In the United States, a basic home internet connection will easily cost $70 to $100, and a standard mobile data plan demands another $50. Moving money between different banks can take days through archaic wire frameworks unless you rely on third-party apps like Venmo or Cash App, which charge you premium fees for instant access to your own capital. And if you want food delivered to your house, the modern corporate ecosystem will charge you the price of the meal, plus a service fee, plus a delivery fee, plus an aggressive, socially enforced 20% gratuity. Tipping culture in America has evolved into a literal tax on basic human decency. POS terminal screens at casual counter-service cafes now actively prompt you to choose between 20, 25, or even 30% tips just because an employee handed you a pastry across a counter. The frictionless economy in the West has reached a tipping point where corporations have successfully outsourced their labor costs directly to the customer's guilt, turning every simple interaction into an unexpected micro-drain on your capital. So, let us look at the final structural equation. Where is it actually better to build your life? The answer is not a single country. The answer depends entirely on your risk tolerance and your long-term wealth strategy. The United States remains the absolute premium training ground for hyper-ambitious innovators, elite corporate ladder climbers, and founders who want to play the raw, high-stakes game of pure capitalism. It is a place where high-end consumer goods, sports cars, and premium electronics are cheap relative to your income, but where the basic cost of human survival is an expensive, unforgiving gauntlet. If you win in America, you win big, and you can accumulate global capital at a speed that no other market can match. Russia, by contrast, has transformed into a highly optimized zone of cheap daily digital convenience, affordable baseline healthcare, and very low routine overhead. It provides an exceptionally comfortable, low-friction lifestyle for a mid-level professional, but it operates under a much lower structural ceiling for global capital accumulation if you are just a standard employee earning a local salary. True purchasing power is never the gross number printed on your employment contract. It is a measurement of how much structure, how much peace of mind, and how much personal freedom you can actually buy with the currency that remains in your hand when the month is over. Fix the math of your geographical structure, audit your local leakages, and protect your capital. This is Honey Invests Money. Fix the math, protect your structure, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!